Hello and welcome to today's daily response video. I'm Zara Rush, creative producer for People Make It Work, and today I'm joined by our associate Vanessa Swann. Hi Vanessa.
Hello Zara.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
Could you start by giving us an idea of what you do for People Make It Work as an associate and your areas of specialism?
Yes, I've been lucky enough to be an associate with People Make It Work for 3 years now, and having come to it from being formerly CEO of Cockpit Arts, where I transformed the organisation into a self-financing creative business incubator and social enterprise. What I do is bring those experiences of transformation to People Make It Work associate work, and that might be, well, it's usually a transformation change program to one degree or another. It could be a 360 business review of an organization, just to unpick the areas that could be made more efficient and effective, and there's usually some specific requests around that. It could be a restructure, looking primarily at the people and resources attached to that and what they need to deliver in the future. A turnaround, a streamlining. A recent example would be a representing of what an organisation does, cutting back on a lot of what it does in order to promote the value of what it does do, and so on. So I hope that gives a flavour.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's essentially about it's working with people and trying to distill the essence of what they do, and definitely promoting the value of what they do more and bringing that to the fore.
Could you, from your experience, could you speak to us a bit about maybe some considerations that we could be taking at this time, or from your area of work, some actions or some strategies?
What I particularly want to bring to this daily video is my thinking at the moment around how we are busier than ever, let's face it, but they're also, because of the new government guidelines, there's probably also another little pause. And at the same time, because organizations will undoubtedly be furiously thinking about testing, piloting, prototyping, planning in lots of which ways, I thought this is a really good time to talk about organizations adopting a learning framework so that they can capture the learning of COVID and ensure that the very best or the most useful of behaviors and values can be incorporated into that thinking and planning process before it's too late. Because my worry is that otherwise the learning, the things that have been actually really good and particularly bold, will become blurred or bastardized, and quite a lot of the old will potentially creep back in and be merged with a bit of the new, and it might not be as bold as it could be. And I think at this time, when many of us are very keen to see change in society, this is an opportunity to apply that. And I keep using that word bold. I think that's quite important, to have the courage of our convictions about what we have been learning. So so I thought I'd talk a little bit about what a learning framework is, why do it, although I've kind of covered that to an extent, and how to do it. And then to provide, so that people don't have to think, gosh, I've got to write furiously right now. We can, through People Make It Work, provide a template if people want to request that.
Yeah, I think going through that framework could be really useful.
Yeah. It's not rocket science, it's not new, but it's just thinking again about tools and techniques that are useful now. So what is it? So, well, it's a means of capturing, as I say, valuable information about ways of working, and particularly new ways of working that have emerged during COVID. It's a process of capturing that information quickly and now, and possibly regularly, as we go through, and as accurately as possible. It's a way of creating a learning organisation. That's a term that is, again, is not new, but perhaps we forget, or think, yes, well, we already are learning organisations. But a learning organisation is one that regularly captures information about behaviours and values, and then uses those to create a feedback, looping them back into decision making all the time. It should be part and parcel of team meetings. It works well when it is part and parcel of regular team meetings, but in my experience, it often isn't. So that's why I think it's important to do it. During a crisis, people will do things they've never done before. I'm sure we're all saying what we've done that we've never done before. The situations have been complex or chaotic, and the business as usual rules don't apply. People will probe complex problems to see what might work, or just take direct action. Some things will work, some things won't work, but every action is an opportunity to learn from it. The question is, how do we capture that valuable information and not forget it, as I say, and make sure that the learning that we capture is applicable post-COVID. It would be easy to have intent to affect change and then not see it through.
Mm.
So the question is, how are we as organisations going to behave, and what values are we going to adopt and apply more rigorously and boldly in order that we can make that happen? How to do it. Let's move on to how to do it. Very simply, identify somebody who will coordinate the learning effort. Agree the information you want to collect, record, so that there can be collective learning. Agree how you're going to gather information. It could be journaling, it could be learning logs, it could be using data that already exists. And identify how you will come together to share and act on the learning, recording what you've learned and how you will share it with others. And through that, create a learning culture. It's okay to talk about uncertainty and things that aren't working, and even more important, to notice where things were possible. That's totally key. What action was taken, what bold moves were made. You can use the very simple template that we have that asks 8 questions. And it's open source and has got columns for personal, organisation and system. And by system, I mean a wider stakeholder group and wider stakeholder network. And the questions are: 1, what have you started doing? 2, what have you stopped doing? 3, what are you doing more of? 4, what are you doing less of? 5, what is working well? 6, what hasn't worked? 7, what has this revealed about how we might change the way we work personally and organisationally? And 8, in 10 years' time, what's the one thing you hope has changed as a result of the COVID-19 response? Now, all of that is quite straightforward, but actually capturing it and having a discussion about it is going to be quite enlightening in many cases. You can repeat that process as often as you like, or you can go into a deeper interrogation through using another template that exists that's organised around 5 key themes: collaboration, leadership, community, reimagining what we value, and behaviours. So examples of learning that I've discovered through my research, and also because I'm a trustee of an organisation, I've actually started using it with them. So just to give some examples of learning that they've fleshed out, learning more about the organisation's unique role, the uniqueness of that role in society, and helping to define what it's best at. Communicate, how they've discovered how communication with other organisations has been more open and honest. I'm sure very many organisations will say the same. It's broken down political barriers, interesting, and enable closer working. These are all clues as to how one might take some of this learning forward, not let it go. It showed how flexibility and speed of decision making can take place when it's needed and when it's desirable. Another, let's not forget that. We might actually want to push that one again. And then on a sort of operational level, really needing to take time out of the office, not having a 3-hour daily commute, and seeing the benefit, in addition, in the staff. I mean, obviously this won't be applicable to every organisation, it's just this particular one. Actually thought it would be so beneficial to the organisation and the individuals, unless there is a really appropriate reason why they can't or don't want to work at home, to work one day a week at home.
Yeah.
And it helps the CEO, in this case, to find time to strategize. So, others, I was looking, there's quite an interesting blog from I think presumably the CEO of the Children's Society, and it was similar things. But he, it doesn't go into detail in the way that you can with an organisation, will hone in on the detail. But Children's Society talks about unprecedented levels of collaboration across the organisation. So how can we hold on to that and not let it go? It would be so easy just to see that as something that was then, but as we go forward, to allow it to drop. Colleagues moving across internal organisational boundaries, so internal collaboration again. But what do I mean? Sort of flexible roles. That's something that they're looking at for the future. Again, people looking out for one another. It'd be very easy for that to get lost. So how can you hold on? And external collaboration has been intensified. And I think with all of those, what keeps coming to the front of my mind is these are all things that would be just ideal in a new normal. But so easily go.
I think those key 8 questions within that framework, and also it's been really great to hear some examples of that in practice and how you kind of develop that learning culture. Really like that word, learning culture, and being able to pinpoint some of the key learnings of this time, as you just put it, to take into the new normal and to carry forward. And is there somewhere we can find those 8 questions written?
Yes. If people want to contact me, people make it work on my email, v.swann, SWANN @peoplemakitwork.com. Then we can send it out.
Okay, perfect. That's really generous. Thank you, Vanessa.
I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing that.
Pleasure. Thanks, Sarah.